Today, I'm going to teach you how to create 3D VR180 videos from the Canon R5C and the Canon Dual Fisheye lens or any 180 camera using the latest Mistika VR Connect and the MetaQuest Pro. Editing inside MetaQuest Pro or the MetaQuest 2 right here will help you create a comfortable 3D video that does not make your viewer sick. This is the most in-depth VR180 3D calibration tutorial you are looking for with footage shot on the Canon RAW LT 60 frames per second. And it will work on both PC and Mac. Let's dive right in. Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Hugh here, back from another episode of VR180 Masterclass. This series is going to kickstart your metaverse filmmaking career using the latest Canon EOS VR system. This is the third way to stitch VR180 videos. Check out my other two methods right here, using Davinci Resolve or using the Mistika Boutique right here. This is the most expensive way to do the job, but hear me out. You get to work faster, render faster, and edit inside the MetaQuest VR headset, which is your final delivery platform in most cases. If you watch my previous Mistika VR Connect tutorial right here, you might know that magic button, auto calibration. It will work in the future update for VR180 videos, but not right now, so manual calibration is still required. Even though it will work in the future upcoming update, learning how to calibrate manually will give you the power to calibrate any challenging 3D scenes. It is a necessary skill to master if you are serious about metaverse filmmaking. Okay, now let's talk about VR180 with the Mistika VR and MetaQuest Pro or MetaQuest 2 to how to really edit VR180 shot on the Canon EOS R5C. I really never actually do a live capture of my entire workflow. I usually make tutorial really fast. Sometimes it just go right over your head. So in this video, I'm gonna do a live 100% uncut live editing stitching of the Canon EOS VR 180 camera, so you can really see my entire workflow with this brand new setup with Mistika VR Connect, with the MetaQuest Pro, MetaQuest 2, and everything else. And we gonna use actual footage we shot in Paris. So right here, let's go first create a new project and make sure your project is the same spec of your Canon EOS R5C, which is 8K, full 8K, right? 29.97, but this one is actually shot on 59.94, 60 frames per second in the Canon RAW, the highest spec possible. So let's name it something now. Let's say French. And I hit OK. I need to pay for my license because it's gonna expire pretty soon. Okay, so step one is go ahead and input the raw CRM footage from your Canon. I also have proxy file, so I also know like what I'm looking at. You can't read CRM file unless you're in Mistika Boutique, Mistika VR, or Davinci Resolve. You can't do that in Premiere, just so you know. So go ahead and drag to Mistika VR. There is honestly no such a difference between Mistika VR and Mistika Boutique. The only thing different is Mistika Boutique is free. If you want the free workflow, go check out the tutorial right here. You only give you ProRes LT, but in most of the time, it's gonna be good enough for you. Because you also gotta learn how to color grade inside Boutique. Mistika VR is a lot faster. You will see why very soon in here. But also allow you to really using the Mistika VR Connect with the MetaQuest Pro, so you can really calibrate your stitching to be perfect, which is very important. Stereo is very important for VR 180, and you don't want to create bad stereo. So that's why. So go ahead. I don't even need to use templates. So go ahead and hit continue. We'll import two raw fisheye lens, and you see there's Paris, there's the Eiffel Tower. I'll try to find a frame that is kind of in the center, the talent, dancing talents kind of in the center. And then right here, right click, I got a low A preset that I create for myself. Don't worry about it. I already provided presets on my previous video in the Mistika Boutique. But if you don't know where it is, I also gonna provide the template of my camera in this video for you to download for free. So just go check the download link and description below. You always start with a template with Mistika VR. So I'll just use my Canon right here. It's also shot in Paris. So go ahead, load the template. Make sure you are on the black and white Anaglyph mode, and that's the mode you want to be on. And then you also want to turn on this grip system right here to give you the center point, the geometrics of the entire frame. And step one is go on the individual lens, turn on this thing to make sure your yellow circle, it's hard to see, go ahead and turn on no stereo. So make sure your yellow circle is within the full frame, both left and right eyes right here. They are both perfectly. If not, you could scale and move the yellow circle to make sure you connect your, include your whole frame, including the lens right here too. So it looks great. So that's step one. And step two is go turn the black and white Anaglyph to see stereo. If you shot this in Canon C-Log, by the way, we set this should not be here. Default value. So in the default value, if you input, so really important for Canon EOS R5C, this on Canon only. If you use Insta, it's not gonna be like that. Make sure your input gamma is Canon C-Log 3. Your input gamma, your input gamut is Canon Cinema Gamut. Your output camera also gonna be set as a Canon Log 3, C-Log 3. That's what we use. And Canon Cinema Gamut again. Just pick what you use in camera. And in Mistika VR, I tend to not do any color transform. You can right here, if you look at this CDL color grading, you can actually do a full-on color grade in Mistika, just like in Boutique. So you can really color grade and then you just output as at the final format meta need, the headset need. But I usually don't want to do that because I like to do my color grading in Davinci Resolve, Mistika Boutique, and even just inside Premiere, which I will actually teach you in my next tutorial, how to color grade VR180 footage super fast, super accurate inside Premiere, Adobe Premiere Pro. But that's next tutorial. The point is, in order to not modify any color, so make sure that your data is picked full right here. Input level is full, and then using Canon C-Log 3, Cinema Gamut, C-Log 3, Cinema Gamut out, in and out. And if you actually realize a problem, if you look at the Cinema Gamut, it's very flat. Basically, if you turn on black and white Anaglyph, you can't see anything. So to cheat that for your eye to really see better, so you can do a better stereo calibrate. In here, we're actually gonna do a linear, and then we're gonna just do a basically sRGB or Rec 709. Let's do sRGB. Maybe S709 better. Maybe try the Rec 2020. They're the same. Basically, I want to crunch up the contrast so I can really see the black and cyan stereo disparity, so I can really calibrate in black and white mode. That's the whole point to using that. Don't forget to change it back before you output it. So now step one. So pick one lens. You only want to modify one lens, or usually I pick the right eye right here, and then go ahead and turn on stereo calibration mode. Zoom in. Turn off the lens, you don't need that anymore. Find the center point of the grid right here. I actually gotta find something in the center that I can really like calibrate. Lovely couple dancing in the center. This should be good because the idea is we want the center point, the talent, to be perfectly good stereo wise. So we'll just aim on this point and I can aim on her as well. So first is reset everything because using a template, my template already setting for you, but that's calibrated to my camera. So I'll go ahead and reset the default value. First, I gotta use the horizontal balance right here and just go ahead and remove all the horizontal stereo disparity. So great right here, and see now we see stereo disparity, which is vertical disparity, which is this bad in stereo. So we go ahead, make sure you only pick one lens, which is the right lens right here. Make sure you're on the stereo tool. Hold the center point, try to get the center point and drag up. Sorry, double click, we go on full screen, by the way, if that's what you need. Drag up. Let's zoom back right back in. I just scroll my middle mouse zoom button so you can really see, you can zoom in, right? Move it back up, or move it back down to remove all vertical disparity, and that should be good. Okay, and then second point I want to look at is usually a point right here, but we actually can't find a point right here. Actually, we could try to use the Eiffel Tower, but it's better you just use something in here because we actually have something object on the ground. So first, I can make sure that horizontal disparity and move it to make sure that we remove all disparity. We're gonna use the grass right here, remove all the horizontal disparity, and then we'll zoom the lens to make sure, hold down right here, to zoom the lens to make sure that remove all, this grass right here, remove all vertical disparity. Now this is good. So just go back and check the talent to make sure I didn't messing up the center point. Still good, great. The next one, we gotta calibrate on this end, the far right. Right here, I see something that we can calibrate right on this line, so perfect. Maybe not, maybe the lens right here. So let's just try to move the lens. No, we don't get it. Which is actually really off, as you can see right here, it's very off right here. So I'll just kind of remove any like horizontal parallax and just tilt the lens down right here until this 2 point. I think I'll look at this 2 point, kind of match. Fully match. So we move the disparity on here, and then next one, this is easier. This one we have a like a level object right here, very close to the lens. Again, same idea. We remove the horizontal. This is just for me to see, right? I want to remove all the horizontal disparity, so I can just need to focus on vertical disparity, and my jobs get rid of the black and cyan, red and cyan. Let's see, remove that. Usually after 3-point calibration, the center point will mess up, and again, the last thing you do is, again, we calibrate center point. Reason why is I want our talent, which is what viewer are usually looking at 90% of the time, to be perfectly perfect in stereo. So it's okay to have disparity in here, here, but you never want to put anything you want people to see so far away from the center, like the Eiffel Tower is actually still really close to the center as well. So go ahead and make sure our beautiful talent right here, she's dancing. In center point, you see it have a little bit disparity because we cover everything. So we just need to make sure that she is perfectly stereo perfect. We're just going back up. Okay, last thing I want to show you is, let's say that at some point that like you accidentally put an object, or you want to like stop here on this end to be stereo perfect as well. So idea is because they are side by side fisheye lens. So if you get a stereo perfect on the center, they will have disparity on this 4 corner. But sometimes you don't want that happen. So if that's the case, you will need to adjust your coaxial distance right here. Usually I don't touch it, but let's say that you kind of want this like this part. Let me just show you. Now, even if we remove all like this piece of leaf right here, even if we remove all like horizontal disparity, it's still gonna have a vertical disparity, and you don't want to move at this point because the talent is perfectly stereo. So everything here is perfectly in stereo, but just object in the corner far away from the lens, fisheye distortion, we kind of morph the vertical disparity and make it look weird. So the last step of defense to really want to fix that, if that's what you want to do, is to increase the coaxial distance right here. Boom. Don't go crazy with that. Like 1 is good enough for this scene. If you go back and check our center talent, make sure that they're still good, and they're still good, which is great. And here, if you check that it's still good, I'm just quickly show you. Yeah, still good. And check here, the benches, and still good. So it's good. So yeah, this scene you can add 1 coaxial distance to usually fix this problem in here. So after that, calibration is all done. You want to reset your horizontal level because you don't want this, because you want the scene to be stereo accurate. So that is just for you to see it. Just put down 0 to remove all horizontal disparity. Okay, now last step is The stereo is way too much here. Right now, see, this is have so much stereo in the background, and this is crazy, even more crazy stereo in here. In an ideal scenario, you want the infinite distance here, have no stereo, and then we have more stereo in the subject to create view contrast. So we can adjust that with yaw balance right here. So let's go ahead and increase the yaw balance to almost remove the distance disparity. And you see, when we do that, we actually calibrate the scene. Yeah, less stereo, but it's actually, trust me, it's better stereo, because stereo is really based on contrast. So if your distant object have like no disparity, your front object even have less red and cyan. It's actually in the headset it's look better, which we tested immediately after that. We don't want to go that extreme. Usually I don't go over 3, so just keep it at 3 for my camera. So yes, we can keep some stereo here, but it will look great. So everything has depth. So now, great. The last step will also, well, actually, I'll keep that. The last step is we're gonna go turn on remote session, quick session, and start the session right now. Turn it on. Okay, it's connected. Now we're gonna put on the MetaQuest Pro or the MetaQuest 2. That's what you use. So now I gotta go turn on Mistika VR Connect right here. Okay, immediately you see the scene already. So, but again, it's in black and white. So I am gonna, again, hit the menu right here. Go to 3D, side by side. Turn off this thing. And now we're gonna look at the stereo right here. Look, the Eiffel Tower look great. You will not see 2D because against a white background, right? Everything else have great 2D. And this right here, the back, there, talent dancing, tree, they all have really great 3D because you actually calibrate the 3D from here. This is an infinite point. I'm pointing it right here. Now it has no disparity, and it actually makes the talent have more disparity, which is great. It's everything based on contrast in 3D. So it's not like more disparity is better. It's actually less disparity, more contrast is better. So that's why we move disparity in here so I can focus on subject, so I don't need to have cross eye. If it's not good, again, double tap right here to turn on pass-through. And now go ahead and go to my computer, adjust that setting to find the perfect yaw balance for you. After that, I want to quickly check one thing. So if you see like it's too pixelized, it's actually really pixelized right here. The reason why is actually turn on the Proximo. You can turn off the Proximo. Okay, now I'm done with the headset. I checked the stereo, everything looked great. No further adjustment. Finally, I need to render it out, so make sure that, again, turn this back off. It's not linear anymore. We go on Canon C-Log 3. So everything look good, right? You check it on the headset. Now go ahead and go to File, Render. You want to go to ProRes. Since I have a paid version of Mistika VR, I can actually do ProRes. If you have the free version, I'm not sure you can do LT as well. You have to use Boutique. But because I have the paid version, I usually render out ProRes right here. Sometimes ProRes actually no, I gotta render ProRes 4444 to keep 16-bit depth, so I can really calibrate it inside Davinci Resolve or Premiere or Mistika Boutique. I mean, that's the benefit of why using a paid version of the software. You can do that, keep 16-bit color depth, make sure that left and right VR180, output size, so auto. There's an audio in the video, so go ahead and pick in movie, pick the location, and then go ahead and hit render. Thank you for editing VR with me. If you are still running into issue or you have any questions, please comment below. I will do my best to answer them in a timely manner. DM me on Instagram, I usually faster there as well. It is not easy in post-production, but now you have all the necessary knowledge to get better. Practice makes perfect, so go out there, film more VR180 in RAW, in 8K, in 60 frames per second, and I will see you next time.